A whole new era of justice is set to begin, complete with the largest league ever assembled. But when problems begin to brew both inside and outside, will our heroes be able to maintain and overcome? Well, let's hop into the pages of Justice League Unlimited issue number 1, the kickoff to a brand new series courtesy of Mark Waid, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, this big debut issue wastes absolutely no time getting started. Our POV character, surprisingly enough, is actually none other than Airwave, aka Harold Jordan. He was all over the lead up to Absolute Power, and now it seems that Mark Waid has seen fit to bring him back, which will actually end up making a lot more sense by the end. Airwave isn't exactly the most famous hero on the block. In fact, his Wikipedia page is barely a few paragraphs. So understandably, he gets pretty overwhelmed being forced to rub shoulders with some of the greatest and most famous heroes ever to walk the earth. Luckily, Wally West the Flash is there to give him a super speed tour of the facility, some of which you may have already seen if you were reading some of the tie-in books to this series. We learned that the Super Family, the Bat Family, the JSA, and several other hero groups have their own brand new ad hoc bases of operation on the new Watchtower so that they can better coordinate with everyone else. Renee Montoya the Question is the head of security, and the ship even has a brand new AI in the form of Red Tornado. His body was destroyed at the end of Absolute Power, and so until they get around to building him a new one, he's going to serve as the big new AI assistant for the entire team, which is honestly more of a justice army now than it's ever been before, right down to pretty much every hero on Earth being a member. Hell, the new Watchtower even comes packing its own Phantom Zone adjacent prison, which actually makes a lot of sense when we stop and consider over in Action Comics, Mark Waid has been trying to make that place a lot less cruel and unusual, and now it all adds up. Airwave ends up being present when some of the team's heaviest hitters end up getting dispatched on their newest mission. The team is actually pretty varied. You got Superman, Black Lightning, and Star Sapphire from the cover, but even some newer members to the team, including Firestorm and Wallace West, Kid Flash 2. Airwave wants to accompany these guys, but he's told to stay behind because, well, he's a little too puny, and unfortunately his power wouldn't exactly be useful in this situation. What exactly is the situation? Well, it seems that a brand new terrorist group calling itself the Inferno is attacking an iridium mine in South Africa. At first, it seems like they might want to steal the iridium, but who Inferno is and what their motivations actually are kind of a big mystery raised by this first issue. Whoever they are, though, they seem to be incredibly well connected, attacking the mine with high-tech technology, including, get this, frickin' war wheels. Yep, now it really is a Justice League Unlimited story, I tell ya. There's also a B story, too, involving Batman and Blue Beetle Jaime Reyes getting dispatched to the jungles of Costa Rica to only discover a bunch of strange-looking alien eggs. That story doesn't actually really go anywhere this issue, but I thought it was important enough to bring it up. Now, while action is in no short supply as Superman and the others deal with the war wheels, the real story of this issue actually involves the very human drama that plays out when Black Lightning and Star Sapphire try and save one of the dying miners. At first, Jefferson thinks this guy is saying his name over and over again, only for Carol to realize that he's actually talking about his wife, and wouldn't you know it, being a Star Sapphire and being powered by love, she actually knows a special technique that could probably save this guy from death's door if only they had his wife nearby, and wouldn't you know it, it's right here, right now, that Airwave, the little hero no one believed in because his power was so lame, proves that in this situation his power is actually incredibly useful as he takes over the cell phone service of the area, and manages to find the guy's wife in just the nick of time, meaning that Star Sapphire is able to complete this special ritual and make it so the guy doesn't have to die an untimely death. Yes, that's right, everyone. When you're a Star Sapphire, you very literally have the power of love in the palm of your hand. Now, when the smoke settles and the day is saved, Superman ends up finding a hollow box left behind by the mysterious Inferno. They seem to be made up of a bunch of cloaked individuals who talk a lot of mad shit about the Justice League, despite the fact that they're arguably more powerful than they've ever been before. The Inferno make it sound like they want to try and change the very fabric of the world, though how exactly they want to go about doing that still remains a little nebulous. No doubt this isn't the last time our heroes have seen them. Now, back on the Watchtower, there's much celebrating and much backpatting for a job well done. Even Airwave actually ends up earning a lot of respect here on his first day. Still, though, he is young and he is overwhelmed, and the other heroes tell him to go hit the showers and decompress for a little bit. It's when we actually follow Harold back to his room he starts to cry. And at first you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, the emotion of the day must really be getting to him, but in his internal monologue, he mentions that he's actually come here to kill the Justice League. And the fact that they've spent the whole day being so nice to him is going to make what has to happen next all the more difficult as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Justice League Unlimited issue number 1, everybody. If you couldn't tell, yeah, I ended up really liking this one. You know, there was a time not too long ago where me and my other podcast co-host Sal talked about what we would like to see in the future of the Justice League books and what it would really take to kind of reignite our interest. Especially after the team basically went on hiatus there for a little bit. We both said to ourselves, well, you know, I'd love them to just do the old Justice League Unlimited cartoon show, but I doubt they would ever do that. And wouldn't you know it, a month later, Mark Waid ended up announcing that he was going to be doing just that. In fact, he was going to be taking the name too. And honestly, yeah, it's an approach that has proven to work time and time again. A big team wherein you get a couple of the AAA heavy hitters, probably someone from the Trinity, and then a bunch of smaller characters who might never get the solo spotlight as much as they deserve, like Black Lightning or The Question, and yet here they do, and the story ends up feeling that much more richer because of it, and their cult audiences end up feeling that much more well-served. Hell, we even have a whole secret society of supervillains with an evil goal that we'll need to unravel, and a mole inside the team. Yeah, these are definitely things we've seen before in other Justice League stories, but hey, if it works, it works. And even if the material is familiar, it looks really damn good because Dan Mora is drawing it, and yeah, I don't know really what more I have to say. This is good stuff. I like it. I give it an 8 out of 10. And who knows, as the series goes on, maybe it will divert from the formula, maybe it will end up reinventing the wheel. I don't doubt it. And the Justice League as a book was away a long enough time too that I think people are just happy to see it back on the shelf. So yeah, this is a win-win from top to bottom, and I'll be interested to see what happens next. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow, and help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.